Hello there. Next month, there will be a critical vote in the House of Commons regarding coronavirus. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost, and I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily. By the end of September, or at the very start of October, just a few weeks away, MPs will gather in the House of Commons to debate and vote on whether or not to continue the provisions of the 2020 Coronavirus Act. Under Section 98 of the Act, the government must table a motion for debate and vote by MPs within 6 months of the passing of the Act. And depending on where you look, that was either the 25th or the 26th of March. And the debate and vote must take place within 7 sitting days of the 6-month anniversary. The wording of the motion must be that the temporary provisions of the Coronavirus Act 2020 should not yet expire. And if MPs vote that down and reject it, then as far as I can see, the government has 21 days to comply. This act is wide-ranging and covers things like the emergency hiring of medical staff, social workers and the emergency volunteers. It also lays down the powers relating to potentially infectious persons, as well as those covering events, gatherings and premises. The Act also covers the registration of deaths, food supply and inquests. And then there's the temporary closure of schools, suspending port operations and the postponement of elections. It also contains provisions for the protection of business and domestic tenants from eviction. So this Act of Parliament now runs large swathes of our lives and controls it in hitherto unparalleled ways. But bear in mind that there are many other coronavirus rules that stem from different Acts of Parliament, like the Public Health Control of Disease Act 1984. In fact, the provisions of the Coronavirus Act and all the secondary legislation is now so complex that one has to wonder how we do get out of it in as painless a way as possible. Especially when you consider how much of it is now entangled in the politics of just about every other country round the globe. And this should also form part of any debate that MPs have. What is the exit strategy? As well as demands that every rule put in place has a definable and quantifiable scientific basis underpinning it. Now there will be many in the population that wish this new normal to continue, to keep the lockdowns in place until the last vestige of the virus is eradicated from the planet and until everyone is inoculated. Whatever the economic cost to the country, its businesses and its citizens that might entail. But there will be those that would like to return to the old normal, or at least something much nearer to it than we're experiencing today, on the basis that this lockdown cure may be worse than the pandemic itself. And this 6-month review, debate and vote by MPs gives the nation the timely opportunity to have their say by engaging with their elected representatives on the issues involved. A chance not to be missed, because the next review may not take place until March 2021. Now there will be strong feelings on both sides of the argument, but MPs will not want to appear heartless, especially those not directly responsible for the economy. Their default position may well be to keep restrictions in place. Now I would put it to you that opposition MPs will be looking forward to this debate with the sole intention of playing gotcha politics with Boris Johnson and his team, to relive the Cummings walkabout saga, for example, with the press no doubt gleefully joining in. You can see them spending most of their time going over the history of the government responses, trying to rubbish Boris and his government, instead of looking ahead with real solutions and answers. The government will be aware of this, and the Leader of the House of Commons, Jacob Rees Mogg, might try to limit the length of the debate when setting the business agenda. They must not be given that latitude to either limit the debate or to try and play party politics with the nation's health or its economy. This issue is far too important for that, whichever side of the divide you are on. People should therefore take this opportunity to contact their MP and tell them how they would like them to vote. They should also tell them about the coronavirus issues that concern them. And most importantly, find out how their MP intends to vote on this critical subject. Now, when contacting your MP, make sure you include your name and address, as they will only respond to their constituents. And most importantly, put forward your views firmly but politely. Otherwise, it'll end up in the bin, making your letter a pointless exercise. And do make sure you ask them to reply telling you how they intend to vote. And now is probably the time for one of those government petitions to give it time to build. Or to plan your peaceful Westminster protest outside Parliament on the day of the vote. I'm not saying you should take one side or the other, that's up to you. But this is important, as the World Health Organization has warned this could go on for another 2 years. And the Secretary of State for Housing, Robert Jenrick, has now changed the law to stop evictions for another 4 weeks, but he's also extended the tenant notice period from 2 months to 6 months. In a tweet, Jenrick said, "Today I have announced a further 4-week ban on evictions, meaning no renters will have been evicted for 6 months. I am also increasing protections for renters. 6-month notice periods must now be given to tenants, supporting renters over winter." The message is that the status quo will persist. On top of that, given that the next review on wearing masks doesn't have to be held until the 24th of January, you get the impression that many of these rules are here to stay for some time to come. This deserves more than MPs playing politics with it and our futures in a few weeks' time. This must now be an objective national debate, so please spread the message. This vote by MPs next month could be the most important they make this year. Make sure they know what you expect from them. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it by following the merchandise link in the descriptions box below. So what do you think about this upcoming vote by MPs? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.